So truthfully, I was about to go to sleep until I lifted the curtain on my window and the beautiful winter breeze hit my body. And now I feel refreshed and rejuvenated. And for that reason, today I'm going to be talking about a controversial topic. Okay, now please do not take my word for everything. I am not the end all be all of Honkai Star Rail theories. I just like talking about things that come to my mind and after seeing certain videos. Now, today it's going to be a video about Firefly. Now, in my opinion, easily the most overhated character in the game. Now, Jing Yuan is also like similarly hated, but the difference is that he's actually ass. Like he's actually garbage. Okay, what people say like Fireflop, Midfly, like you'd think people would be using these terms for Jing Yuan instead. However, they don't. So I wanted to talk about the Firefly hate and how it's getting a bit out of hand. So I came across a Zolza Telos video, however you say her or his name. Truthfully, I do not know how to pronounce it correctly. I just pray I didn't butcher it. Now, this person has a running shtick or running gag of just hating on Firefly, and trust me, I find it funny. I don't take that shit seriously. I find it hilarious. However, there's an issue I take with it. For example, I saw a boot hill run by her/him, and during that boot hill run, she was running, or he, 177 speed supports. This is insane relic quality, okay? Everybody is basically 170 speed. And not only that, but she has triple S5 gacha light cones on 3 characters. So people rightfully called out that saying that like an E1 Firefly or E2 Firefly is bad at clearing or you need E2 Firefly to zero cycle when you need like 3 gacha light cones in order to zero cycle with a boot hill isn't exactly that impressive. And rightfully so, right? Like, this is just my opinion, but I've had a lot of people in my comments previously hating on my videos, kind of uplifting Firefly, because people have subjective experiences with their own teams and characters. However, they are biased, okay? Objectively, at average relic investment, Firefly team is likely the strongest team in the game and the most universal. Not to mention, Firefly is a lot more usable in pure fiction than like a boot hill would be, right? So because of that, I've always recommended Firefly to save up for the break team and get Firefly on a rerun if if you're a new player, because it's just the best and most optimal route to take. Because Acheron currently is kind of struggling a little bit on Apocalyptic Shadow, especially if you don't have her light cone. However, break teams are the strongest on Apocalyptic Shadow, so Firefly shreds. In MOC, Firefly is like a top 3 team. And in Pure Fiction, if you have Link Shaw, you're just going to be shredding, once again, like a top 3, top 4 team. So absolutely just an all-rounder team that requires not that good of relic investment in order to perform really well in clear endgame content. However, for certain DPSs, the higher relic investment you have, the stronger they'll shine. And I think Boot Hill is a beautiful example of this, as well as Acheron. Now, I think it's mainly just the crit DPSs in general, and including Boot Hill. These guys, when you have incredibly high relic investment, shine like no other, okay? They can pull off some crazy zero cycles. However, at average relic investment and average cost, truthfully, I do believe a Firefly Super Break team is simply unmatched. And it's going to be further unmatched with Fugue's release, just in my opinion. At zero cycles, when people have insane relic investment, sure, I can give you Boot Hill. I've already said this before. I've admitted it, that I think a Boot Hill at a Boot Hill team at super high relic investment will usually outperform a Firefly, not including Pure Fiction. Although, I have seen some people max clear Pure Fiction with Boot Hill, not in this one, but before. I think Wyatt Sky made a video on it, and it was very interesting. I really liked it. I love his videos, right? So, I wanted to talk about... what am I saying? Guys, please, it's like 3 in the morning. Chill on me. My brain is in absolute, like, Narnia, okay? I can't exactly focus correctly. However, I do want to say, if you're a new player and you don't want to listen to my advice and you don't want Firefly and instead you want to go for Boot Hill, you can do that. Like, this is the problem I had with people getting mad at me. Like, oh, maybe Boot Hill's better. Maybe, like, Acheron's better if you end up getting Zhao Q down the line. Like, just get Boot Hill or Firefly. Because they should rerun very close to each other, right? Because Boot Hill ran, and then right after Boot Hill was Firefly. So their reruns should be very, very close to each other. Whether or not one reruns earlier than the other, I'm not sure. Because they can pull, like, another Sparkle and rerun a character, like, way before than they usually should be. However, we'll have to see. But just keep that in mind that if you really want to go for the break team as a new player and you don't want to listen to my advice, either because you don't like Firefly as much or because you just don't believe my words as much, you can also just get Boot Hill. Boot Hill is amazing, and at higher Relic investment with his entire team, it can get incredibly broken. Like, this man has some of the best and cheapest zero cycles in the game if you have high enough Relic investment. That's a big if, okay? You need some crazy speed stats on not only your supports, but as well as Boot Hill to really make it work that optimally. However, he's still very good, even without high Relic investment. I just personally think Firefly adds the better value to your account. And this is something I see very common. Not only Zolzatellos, but also like Acheron. Like, there are some Acheron E0 S0 zero cycles out there, which once again, very impressive. But then they have like these insane substats. Like, I'm telling you guys, these people will sometimes go on private servers to do these runs. It's not like they're doing like future MOCs or anything like that. They're doing current MOCs on private servers because they can't get the relic rolls on the actual main game. Like, that's how stupid these relic rolls are. Like, I'm talking on average 4 crit rolls on every single piece, super high speed. Like, this is probably like 3, 4, 5 months worth of relic investment inside an entire team. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. And then they'll compare it to like a Firefly with just average Relic stats and average team. Like, it's like, okay, like, sure, it can clear better at 0 cycles versus my Firefly, who will clear at 1 cycle. But what's the point? They're all using S5 gacha Lycones. They're all using some of the highest Relic investment in the game. Why would I even care about this, right? Now, this isn't to downplay any other DPSs or characters. Once again, it's very impressive to be able to 0 cycle with characters that usually aren't seen. However, you need to understand that, in my opinion, S5 gacha Lycones and Relic investment can sometimes be more of a burden than just getting higher cost of a 5-star. For example, I can just save for like 1 patch and then, or like 1.5 patches, and then let's say Firefly gets her rerun, because leaks, you can usually find out a rerun 1 patch before they come out, then I have a decent chance at getting an E2, right? 1 patch gives you around like 100 pulls, if not more, and then the second patch will give you like obviously 200 plus, but the 1/2 of the second patch will usually give you like 70-80. So that's like 180 pulls, which is 2 guaranteed 5-stars. Okay, that's 2 guaranteed. So if you're just a little lucky and you win both 50-50s, you have an E2. Like, it's really that simple. If you just get a little lucky and save for 1 patch and a half, you could get an E2 Firefly. So in my opinion, that's significantly easier than getting 3 S5 gacha Lycones and spending 3 to 4 months in a Relic cavern grinding for the absolute top tier relics for 1 team. Like, I'm just going to be honest, I'd rather go to my fucking job and work 6 hours and then spend gems on this game instead of spending like 3 to 4 months farming relics to make my character stronger. I know a lot of people don't have that option. For example, I live in Canada, so here our currency is similar to the US, although not as top tier. And however, I know there are people who live in third world countries or even just Asia, Europe. There are some European countries that, or Africa, right? All over the world, there are a lot of countries whose currency isn't anywhere near the same value as USD and CAD. So because of that, putting the time into Relic Caverns and not spending money on these games is normal for you guys, right? Like, you don't have to spend money on these games. However, me personally, in my situation, I would rather work and just spend gems to get an E1 or E2 than spend 2 to 3 months farming relics in order to make a team better than the Firefly team, right? Now, the best solution at the end of all of this, just get both, right? Personally, if I get lucky, I want to get both Boot Hill and Firefly. That way I can just run my Firefly team on like every single endgame mode, and then I can use my Boot Hill to try and do like 0 cycles. Like, I think that would be like the most fun route. However, I have to get a little lucky and I can't lose like a single 50-50 because Boot Hill and Firefly likely going to rerun very close to each other. And then obviously everybody knows you kind of want Fugue. Like, Fugue is really, really good. And another route you can take, by the way, if you don't want to go for Firefly, is you can actually go for E1 Fugue because her E1 gives increased weakness break efficiency to whoever she uses her skill on. And that weakness break efficiency applied on Boot Hill is pretty disgusting, right? Like, Boot Hill already has some crazy weakness break efficiency because of the fact that he's Hunt. However, you add that on top of it, oh my god, it's just gross, okay? It's absolutely disgusting what that team can do. I just saw a video on it. Man, I love Boot Hill. I truly do think that he's like the best character in the game. He has like the best design, like the coolest ult. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost convinced to skip Firefly for him. However, I'm currently on the plan to get Firefly and not Boot Hill because I just need to farm a lot of relics if I want to make Boot Hill that good, and I don't like that. I'm a very lazy person. As you can see, I haven't even done anything today. I literally just logged on here so I can make this video. So yeah, just a little talk on the hate that Fireflop receives and how it's kind of a double standard and almost useless, right? Like, all these other teams that people compare to Firefly are either at much higher relic investment or much higher Lycone investment. Like, these guys, bro, I'm telling you, this account, just look at the Lycones this account has, okay? Right here, I have S3 Clara Lycone, Ratio Lycone, Ruan May Lycone, Acheron Lycone, Kafka Lycone, and I don't have a single S5 Landau's Choice or S5 Memories of the Past. Not a single one, okay? Like, it is very hard to get S5 Gacha Lycones consistently. I can promise you that. It is not fun. Especially since to get them in the first place, you have to wish on the Lycone banner. 99% of people in this game do not wish on the Lycone banner because it's just too expensive, right? Like, we get, like, let's say 100 pulls, 120 pulls in a patch. You'd have to spend like 60 to 70 in order to get the Lycone, and then you're not able to guarantee 1 5-star in that patch. So really, only people who either spend money or save like patches prior really spend on Lycone banners. So it's just incredibly unrealistic. However, I'm not hating anyone who does these 0 cycles with these teams at super high relic investment. I love watching them personally, and it's honestly nice to know that if you invest some time into grinding the game and your character's relics, they can overperform what they were originally like looked or observed at to be, right? Firefly, I'm not gonna lie, falls off at high relic investment. She's still very good. However, it's just she doesn't benefit all that much from high relic investment since Ruan May doesn't really do anything, right? Like, let's say for the Boot Hill team, if you put Branya on some insane speed, it's really broken because she can spam her skill on Boot Hill more, giving Boot Hill more turns. But if you have Ruan May on like 160 speed, it's just like, why? Like, she can't boost the speed of anyone else on field. She's not exactly doing anything, and you're just making her lose her skill faster and her ult faster. Like, literally, why, right? So in Firefly, having like high speed on your supports is actually a bad thing. Like, you don't want your Harmony Trailblazer's ult to run out too fast, and as well, you don't want your Ruanmei's skill and ult to run out too fast, right? So because of this, there's an issue where at high relic investment, it doesn't really benefit Firefly all that much, while all these other teams at like very high relic investment actually get a lot of benefit because they're able to take multiple more turns than they usually would. However, yeah, that's going to be the video for today. Just a little bit of yap on this game. I haven't uploaded a video on this game in a few days. I thought you guys deserved something from me. Just get my opinion out there. Once again, I do not believe I am the end-all be-all of opinions in this game. I love to hear others' opinions so long as they aren't toxic. I should actually have said this much earlier in my journey on YouTube in this game. Please do not be toxic or like a know-it-all if you're gonna try and like educate me on something, right? I know Acheron is perfectly strong. I know Boot Hill is perfectly strong. Once again, not saying they're bad. They're really good. However, I just find Firefly to be the best option for free-to-plays, and I don't understand the hate she gets just because she at higher relic investment isn't the top tier team. She's still very good, but I will agree she sometimes can be overrated. Okay, I see both sides. She can be overrated at times. So yeah, have a good day, have a good night, peace.